rotate our texture around. So you have a few options. You can either break your model up into a smaller piece and paint that way, or work in the UV viewport if it's a bit more fiddly. Let me just move my texture, rotate it a bit. Rotate it, move it. Paint that line out. Paint that out there. We'll paint this bit in here. Bake it down with the Alt key. Again, keep rotating our texture around so it follows the outline of that ring. That just helps keep the grain of the stone consistent. Bake it down. Maybe we'll use a bit more of the green in here. We just have to be a little careful we don't accidentally hit that bit that we painted on the right hand side there. Okay, we'll bake that down. Rotate it around. And of course you can reduce the size of your brush if you're worried about it. Bake it down. Almost back around to the other side again. Okay. Let's start using the lighter colored brick here, I think. Blend that in a little bit more and join these pieces together. Okay, we'll bake that down, zoom out a bit, go into our ortho view, and now we have the base textured up. Let's work on this inner ring here. Again, I'm going to just lay down a bit of color so I know which brick I'm working on, which UV island I should say I'm working on. And it will be which one will it be? It didn't actually paint it in, so let me just redo that. I didn't press the Alt key to bake it down before changing the UV viewport. No, it's that one there. So we're just going to zoom in a bit, rotate our texture, paint it in. So yeah, the reason it didn't carry through was because I didn't press the Alt key to bake the texture down. As I said in Mari, if you don't press the Alt key, it's not committed to the mesh. It's not assigned to the UVs. That's unless you press the Alt key or unless you change the preferences in Mari to auto bake for you. I prefer to have a bit more control, so I turn auto bake off and set it up so it only bakes down when I press the Alt key. That way, if I change my mind and don't like what I've done, I don't have to erase it or fiddle with it too much. I just have to clear the buffer. If I don't press the key down, it doesn't bake it down. All right, bake that down. Let's go with a bit of the green. Bake it down. Rotate our texture around. Still working with the green. Again, just being careful now that we're coming around to a bit that we've already painted on next to it. Bake it down. Rotate it around. Again, I'm still going to be working with the green. Bake that down. We'll rotate around and start working with the lighter color again. Just going to move my UV map over. Bake it in, rotate it around. Maybe change the texture a little bit. Rotate. Okay. And bake that down. Rotate our texture and move it up a bit. Maybe work with this bit on the end. Rotate it around. Bake it down. I'm just going to paint that bit there out. Okay, we'll bake that down. We're almost back around again, so we'll stick to this lighter color part of the texture. Bake it down. Let's move to the one on the end here. Rotate and join them up. Bake it down. Jumping into our ortho view. Okay. Looks like there's a bit just here that I missed, so I'm just going to tidy that up a bit. Bake it down. Okay. We're going to throw a dirt texture over that as well, so that'll help to break it up a little bit. Let's work on this top section just here. So again, I'm just going to paint in a little bit here, bake it down, jump back into our UV view, and that is this ring here. Okay. We'll bake that down. Rotate our texture. Rotate our texture again. Maybe pick up some of the greener brick. Bake that down. I'll rotate it around. We'll still work with the green part of the brick, I think. Okay, we'll bake that down. Let's start working with a bit more of the brown part of the brick again now. Just going to move my UV map around. I need to blend that together a little better, so paint that bit in there and just blend that up a bit. Let's rotate our texture, move our UV map. Again, we're going to have to start being a little bit more careful because we're butting up against this side here where we've already painted. We don't want to paint over that bit again, so I'm just going to be a little careful as I get to that edge. If you do accidentally go over, it's easier not to paint over again, but save yourself the work and just be a bit more careful. Bake it down, move it up, rotate our texture around and position it. Again, just being a little bit more careful along this edge here. Clean that bit up. Let's move our texture down a bit, rotate it around, move it down, rotate it around. Maybe not quite that much. Use the lighter part of the brick here. Again, rotate it around, follow that curve of the mesh, the object. Okay, we'll paint that in, bake it down. Rotate it around, maybe use the second brick now. Bake it down. Rotate and move. Okay, let's rotate and move on to the next brick in the texture. Bake it down. Okay. Maybe we'll go back to the bit of the green in the brick again now. Again, just to add a bit of variety. Okay, we'll bake it in. Again, we'll stick with the green of the brick for a little bit longer. Bake it down. Now we'll probably start going into this lighter color brick. I'm just going to do a better job of blending those two together in just a second. Okay, so I'll move that there. I'll just blend that through. I'll rotate that around. Bake that down. Okay. Bake it down. bake it down. We're almost back around again. Just going to rotate my texture. Rotate it around a bit more. Bake that in and join these two bits together. Right. Bake that down and we'll jump back into the UV ortho view, Okay, so the tops and the bottoms are done, the outer edge is done. We've just got to worry about the inner ring now. So let's jump back in here. Again, I'm going to paint that there so I can see which bit this is, bake it in. I may work in the 3D viewport for this. In fact, I think I will. I think I'll stick to the ortho view to do the inside ring. So I'm just going to angle our model and rotate our texture and scale it up. I'll rotate it around just a bit, scale it in just a bit, maybe a little bit more. Again, we've got masking turned on. Just going to paint this brick in and then zoom out and have a bit of a look at it. Bake it down. Okay. Let's paint it from this angle here, I think. Let's zoom out. Again, this might be one of those sections that might be easier to paint in the UV view as opposed to the 3D view, but we'll see. Let's bake that down. Jump into our UV viewport here. Yeah, maybe better to paint it in. Let's try painting it in the UV view, at least initially, and then we can touch it up in the 3D view. Just bake that down and have a look at it in the ortho view. That may be easier. Just want to find this bit here. Okay, so where is that bit? That's down here. Paint that in, bake it down. Jump back to ortho. Let's find this bit in here. Back into the UVs. I think it's this bit here. Okay, jump back to ortho and look at this bit here. Paint that in, bake it down, jump back to UV, find where that is, which is here. Again, we have to be careful here not to overpaint the bit at the bottom or the bit at the top just here. Okay, let's bake that in. And let's find this bit here now. Bake that down. That's this bit here. Bake that down and check our ortho view again. It looks like we just have one little section left and a bit of a problem just there, so I'm just going to fix that up really quickly now. And I'll have to do that in the orthographic view here. It's obviously where the UVs are split, just here. If you'd gone into Max, you could have welded those sections together to make one longer piece if you wanted. It's easy to fix it this way as well. I'm just going to rotate our texture and zoom in on it a bit. Maybe give it a bit bigger. Rotate it around a bit. And there's one little bit just here. So let's angle our model. Rotate it around. Position it around about there. It needs to come up a bit. Pull it down just a little bit. Bake that down. All right. It looks like we should fix this bit just up in here. So again, I'm going to paint that in so I can work out where it is in the UV viewport. I think it's this ring here actually, but the only one that's not painted up, so let's do that. Zoom in a bit. Let's paint up both of those at the same time. Rotate it around. Bake it down. Rotate it around, use a different part of the texture. Again, just being a little careful here because we're starting to hit one that we've already painted on. There's one on the side that we've already hit here, so we just have to be careful not to paint over that. So rotate it around. I'm just going to blend that together a little better. Okay, we'll bake that down. Bake that down. Rotate our texture and keep running around the side edge here. Just through there. Bake that down. Let's use a different part of the texture now, maybe here. Bake that down. Rotate it around. Rotate it around. Go maybe to the lighter part of the texture. Just want to blend that in a bit more. Bake that down. Bake it down. Keep rotating our texture around to follow the ring. Okay. Again, we're going to have to be just a little bit careful here so that we don't overpaint the UV island just below it. Bake it down. Maybe move back to the green in the texture. Or rotate it. Maybe a little bit more. Bake that in. Let's move down to the other end here and use some of these parts of the brick. Okay, we'll bake that down. Again, we're going to have to start to be careful that we don't overpaint the edges here. rotate our texture. Yeah, bake that down. Move down the brickwork a little bit, add a bit of variety, and bake it down. We're nearly back to the beginning again, so let's move to maybe a bit of the green of the brick. Bake it down, rotate it round. Bake it down, and let's put in a bit of the lighter part of the brick through here. Just going to blend that in a bit, move it around, rotate it around. Now let's just paint this join in. Bake it down, zoom back out again, jump back into our ortho view and zoom out. I'm actually going to turn masking off quickly. I'm going to scale our texture down. Alright, let's save our project and quickly export that as it is at the moment and have a look at it in Max. Okay, we're going to go to the channel, color, export flattened, export everything flattened. We're in our rework folder. And this is deco ring bottom. We're going to call it underscore painted.tga. I have my caps lock on. There we go. Export all. Let's jump back into Max, into our material editor, and load up that new texture. I believe it's this one here. Alright. Now we have our ring at the bottom here almost finished. We've just got to do the a couple of more interior sections of the ring, and then throw a dirt map on it, and maybe some dirt like we did with the top piece just here. But our model's starting to come together now. And by doing this center section, it helps us to choose colors for these banisters and columns here. So yeah, it'll once we've finished up this ring, we can start working on these parts of the model, the banisters, the columns, and the larger columns just here. They're the only bits now that we have left to texture up after we finish doing this center ring. So we're nearly there. And once we've finished with the texturing, we can work on the exporting, creating normal maps, and bringing it into Eon View so we can start doing some beauty renders of it. Setting up an environment and doing some a beauty render. So let's save our file here. I think we may finish up there for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope to see you again next week. I'll be back on Monday next week, Monday US time at 5 p.m., 4 p.m. now that daylight savings is finished over there. 11 a.m. in Australia, 12 a.m. in the UK. You can follow my Twitter page. I always post 15 minutes before I'm about to go live. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and hopefully I'll see you guys again on Monday next week. See you guys.